Hello, how are you? Hope you're doing fine. We started today's lecture. Previously, we talked about the numbers in their standard form. Now we will see how we can multiply and divide the numbers in standard form. For flavor or for introduction, we did few examples for simple multiplication of a standard number in this form. That was 10 raising power something multiplied by 10 raising power. This was like 10 raising power 3 multiplied by 10 raising power 2. So it was the answer in this case was that the base would be same and the powers would be added. So 10 raising power 3 plus 2, that was equal to 10 raising power 10 to the 10 raised to the power 5. So up to this point, we discussed this in the previous lecture. So now we are going to solve standard division of the simple numbers with base 10 and then the various standard numbers in the standard form. For example, there is a question which says that 10 divided by 10 and the powers are 10 raised to the power 7 divided by 10 raising power 3. So in the multiplication, if this sign was a multiplication sign, we could have written 10 in the base and 7 plus 3. But in the division, the powers or the exponents are subtracted. So it can be written like this: 10 and the exponent of numerator, like the exponent of 7 minus 10 exponent 3 divided by 10 exponent 3, or we can say it 10 exponent 7 minus 3, because in division the powers are subtracted, so the answer would be 10 raised to the power 4. In the division, the answer would be, in this case, the answer would be 10 raising power 4. Let's solve two more examples. 10 divided by the powers or the exponents are 8 and simple 10. And then another example of 10, like we're just writing it in the simple division form. 10 raising power 9 and raising power 7. In this case, when solve this, we would simply subtract 7 from 9. The base would be same. The answer would be square of 10 or 10 raising power 2. In this case, when a number has no exponent or no power, by default it has an exponent of 1. So we can write it like this: 10 raised to the power of 8 minus 1, and that is equal to 10 raised to the power 7. So in all of the three cases that we have done here, the power of the numerator was bigger than the power of denominator. As we have already learned about addition and the subtraction of negative numbers, it would help in the next part of this lesson. In this case, the power of denominator would be greater than the power of numerator. In this example, 10 raised to the power 4 divided by 10 raised to the power 6, and then 10 raised to the power 3 divided by 10 raised to the power 4, and finally 10 divided by 10 raised to the power 6. So now we have to solve these three. So for solving these three, we would adopt the same procedure. The power of the denominator would be subtracted from the power of numerator. So that would be equal to 10 raised to the power 4 minus 6. Now, as we have already done this kind of subtraction question in which this number is smaller, this number is greater. So either you can draw a number line, or you can simply subtract 4 from 6 and use the negative sign with it, because the larger number has a negative sign. So 4 minus 6 would be equal to minus 2. So this would be the answer for this question. For the next question, it would be 10 raised to the power 3 minus 4. So 3 minus 4 is equal to minus 1. So that would be equal to 10 raised to the power minus 1. We can also write it like this: 1 over 10 raised to the power 2. Because to convert this negative sign into positive sign, it can be written like this in the denominator. So it can also be written like this: 10 raised to the power minus 1. So when in denominator, it would be 10 raised to the power plus 1. So we can, if even if we don't write the plus 1 here, it is the same thing. So the final question is 10 over 10 raised to the power 6. So by default, when there is no power written, there is a 1. So 10 raised to the power 1 minus 10 raised to the power 6. So the answer would be 10 raised to the power minus 5. So now, as we have solved both the positive the questions in which the numerator power was greater, and then the questions in which the denominator power was greater. So the difference between the two is, in these questions, the answer was with the power was in a positive number, or the exponent was positive, and in these cases the exponents are negative. Uh, now we are going to solve the standard numbers that are not just the powers or the exponents of 10. For example, 2.45 exponent something. This is the number P, there is another number Q, and that is equal to 1 point. So this is number is equal to 1.23 into 10 to the power. In the first case, the exponent is 6, and in the second case, exponent is 7. Or, or exponent is 9. So to solve the first case in which the exponent, so the first question is multiply P by Q. So for doing that, for multiplying P by Q, this is the first part. The second part is, let me write all of the questions first. The first question is multiply P by Q. Second question is P divided by Q. Third question is Q divided by P. So these are the three questions. So let's start with the first one, that is P multiplied by Q. So in this case, we can write it like this. For the first question, we can write it like this: 2.46 multiplied by 10 exponent 6, then multiplied by 1.23 multiplied by 10 exponent 9. So this would be the statement for the new question. We have to multiply the number P, this is number P, with the number Q, this is the number Q. So for multiplying this, we are going to rearrange the numbers first, because we know the order does not matter in multiplication. For example, we can write this as A multiplied by C multiplied by B multiplied by D. As you can see, we changed the position of these two numbers, but the answer in the both cases would be same. So this would be equal to this, because it doesn't matter if you change the position of any number in the multiplication. So in this case, what we can rewrite it like this: 2.46 multiplied by 1.23 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 10. So this is 10 raised in power 6 and 10 raised in power 9. So we can multiply these two and then these two. For example, 2.46 multiplied by 1.23 would be equal to, multiplied by 1.23 is equal to 3.0258. That is equal to 3.0258, or 3.02.025 multiplied by 10. So the second multiplication would be multiplying these two numbers, so that would be equal to, base would remain same. This is a simple multiplication of the exponents. So 6 would be added to 9. So now the answer would be 3.025 into 10 exponent 15. So this would be the answer for this question. So the second part is P divided by Q. This is the first part. Now we are going to do the second part, that is P divided by Q. So the p divided by q would be, we can write it like this: 2.46 into 10, 1.23 into 10. Let's write the exponents with it. So we can like break down this also in this form. For example, you can write it like this: 2.46 divided by 1.23 divided by 1.23, and then solve the exponents for part. That would be equal to 10, and the exponent of denominator subtracted from exponent of, because as we had discussed earlier, these two are being divided, so we can subtract these two. So 2.46 divided by 1.23 is exactly equal to 2. So 10, so the exponent would be 6 minus 9, and that is equal to minus 3. So the answer for the second part would be equal to this. Let's do the third one, and I had to take a little break. So far we have done the first and the second part, that is multiplying p with q, the two numbers in the standard form, and then divide p by q, and the third part is divide q by p. So let's start with the third part, that is equal to divide these two numbers. So this is how we can divide these two numbers. This is the numerator and this is the denominator. So basically we have to change the numerator with denominator. So this should be the denominator and this should be the numerator. So this would be like this. Now we have to divide these two numbers. So the first thing that we are going to do is separate 1.23 divided by, to reduce the font a little bit, 1.23 by 2.46, and the exponent would be like this, that as we are dividing, so 9 would be subtracted, 6 would be subtracted from 9. We can write it like this. So this is equal to 0.5 or 1 by 2. This is 1.23 is the half of 2.46. So when we divide 1.2, you can use a calculator for this, because this is a little bit complex. So but the answer is very simple. It is equal to 0.5 or half, and 9 minus 6 is equal to 3. So we can write it like this, but still this is not the standard form, because in the standard form the decimal is one place after the first digit, so that this decimal should be at this location. So to shift the decimal over here, what we can do is write it like this, 5, and as we have shifted, we talked about this earlier, that if you want to shift the decimal to one place on the right side, we can subtract 1 from here, so 3 minus 2 would be equal to 2. So the standard form for this equation would be 5 into 10 is 10 exponent 2, because for converting 0.5 into 5. I'm just going to explain this step in a little detail. It's like you have a number 0.5, and if and you want to make it 5. So what should you do? You have to like multiply it by 10. If you multiply 0.5 by 10, it will be, the answer would be 5. So in this case, as we know that 10 raising power 3, it means that 10 is multiplied 3 times. In this way, and we can also write the 0.5 part with it. So now this thing 0.5 into 10 exponent 3 can be written in this form. So to make 0.5 into 5, we can multiply it by 10. So the answer for this part only in the first two pair would be equal to 5. So now there are two tens left. So we can write it like the square of 10. So that's why like this is equal to this. So this was just the explanation, a little explanation of how we can write this 0.5 into 10 exponent 3 into this form. This is the standard form. In standard form, for example, let me delete all of this. So for example, there are some questions 0.045 into 10 exponent something, and 456 into 10 exponent something. Final is 0.021 10 exponent, and the values of exponent are, in this case the first value of exponent is 6. In this case the value of exponent is 3, and in this case the value of exponent is equal to -2. So these are the three examples, and we want to write all of these into the standard form. So this is not a standard form. If any number is multiplied by a base of 10, um, like this, an exponent of 10, so this is not an standard form. The standard form will be like this. This is an example of a standard form, that the decimal would be after the first digit. So we have to convert these numbers into the standard form. So for doing that, first of all, just shift the decimal over here after the first digit, that is 4. So this would be equal to now 4.5. This would be equal to 4.5 into 10 exponent 6. So now as we have shifted the decimal to 3 places, like 1 to 3, if it was placed here, it would have been -1 here, but as we have shifted the decimal 3 places, so we are going to subtract 3 from the 6. So the answer in this case would be 4.5 multiplied by 10 raising power 3. So this would be the answer for this. The next question is 4.56 into 10.3. In this question there was already a decimal, but in this, when there is no decimal written with a number, so we can write it like this: 50.0. So these two are the same thing. We have just added the decimal, and both of these are equal to 50. So 456 has no decimal, but by default when there is no decimal, there is a decimal at the end of the number. So for writing it in the standard form, we have to write it like this: 4.56. And as we have shifted this decimal 2 places on the left side, So we will add 2 into this 3. So this would be now equal to 10 into 3 plus 2. That would be equal to 5. So this would be the answer for this number, this question. Uh, this is a negative. The exponent is in the negative. Is a negative number. So what we have to do is, like, we have to shift this decimal to this place after 2, so that it should be after the first decimal place. First the decimal should be after the first digit. In this case, the exponent was already -2, so we have shifted it 2 places to the right. So we will subtract 2 more from -2. So the answer would be 2.1 into 10 to the power -2 minus 2 is equal to -4. So this would be the answer for these examples. So I'm going to solve one last example regarding multiplying in the division of the numbers in standard form. For example, there is a number a that is equal to, the a number is 3, 4, 32 into 10 exponent something. I will write the exponent later. And the second number is, let's say that number b is equal to 0.21 into 10 exponent. So the exponent value for this is 342. Exponent should be, this exponent is 3, and the exponent value here is equal to -2. So the question is, we have to calculate a multiplied by b, a divided by b, and b divided by a. So these are the 3 questions that we are going to solve with using this data. So the first thing is multiply a with b. So for multiplying, what we can do is just simply write the value of a, that is equal to 342 multiplied by, and then write the value of b, that is equal to 0.21 into 10 exponent -2. So this is exponent 3 and this is exponent -2. So in the first step, multiply these two quantities, because these quantities are similar. They have a base of 10 and these two are exponent quantities with the same base, and these two are simple numeric quantities. So 342 multiplied by 0.21 is equal to, let me calculate that, 342 multiplied by 0.21, that is equal to 71.82. The product of these two is 71.82. You can write 71.82 here. So the next thing would be to solve these exponent powers. So we can solve it like this: 10 exponent 3, and add the exponent for this. This is -2, so this would be like -2. Next step is to write it like this: 71.82 into 10 exponent 1. So no right to write 10 exponent 1, but this is not the standard form. In the standard form, this decimal should be here. So we can write it like this: 7.182. But as we have shifted the decimal to left side, we will add 1 in the exponent of 10. So this would be equal to 7.182 into 10 raising power, or 10 exponent 2. So this is the first part: 7.182 into 10 raising power 2. I'm going to write the answer here. For 7.182 into 10 exponent 2. So next question is a divided by 2. So we can solve this one like this. A divided by b would be equal to this. So either we can convert them into the standard form, or we can find the answer and then convert the answer into the standard form. So 342 divided by 0.21 would be equal to 342 divided by 0.21. It is equal to 1628.57. 1628.57. And about the exponent, it is equal to, because as these two are being subtracted, so we will 3 minus, because we have to subtract them, so this 2 has already a negative sign, so we can write it like this: 3 minus 2. So as we learned in the previous lecture, that when there are two minus signs, they are converted, or they are changed to a positive sign. When minus is multiplied by a minus, it is converted to a positive sign. So the answer would be in this case, the answer would be 3 plus 2, because this would become plus. 3 plus 2 would be equal to 5. Again, this is not written in the standard form. We have to shift the decimal this place after the first digit. So when it moves 3 digits to the right, so the answer becomes 1.628. Just ignore the last two, because we have to keep it to 3 digits only. That would be equal to 5 plus 3, because we move 3 digits to the left side. So the answer is equal to 10 raised in power 8. So this is the answer for the second part, that is equal to 1.628 into 10 raised in power 8. Okay, now we are going to solve the third part, that is b over a. So b over a can be written like this: b over a can be written like this. So first of all, we will divide 0.21 with 342. So 0.21 divided by 342 equal to, so the calculator has given an answer of 6.14 exponent minus 3. So that gives an answer of 6.4 exponent, that's equal to 10 raised in power 6.14 exponent minus 4. So there are two more tens, so we are also going to solve them. So this equation would become something like this, because in the answer of these two values is 6.14 over 10 exponent minus 4. So there is a minus 2 already present here. So when we shift this 3 from denominator to the numerator, it also becomes minus 3. So the answer for this question would become finally 6.14 into 10 raised in power minus 4 minus 3 minus 2. So that would be equal to 6.14 into 10 raised to power minus 9. So this is how we convert the numbers into the standard form, and how we can multiply and divide the numbers in the standard form. So in the standard form, just to summarize, a number is written in such a way that there is always a decimal after the first digit, and this power basically shows the magnitude of the number. So that's it for today about maths.